Hey, good morning. This is Steve Hudson with the Texas Veterans Land Board. We're a state agency here in Austin, and we provide benefits to our military veterans. I want to thank the Texas Association of Realtors for sponsoring a free 1-hour webinar this coming Monday at 10 a.m. And if you'll check with your local board or Association of Realtors, check to see if they are participating with this webcast, because by participating, you're going to learn a lot of ways to help your veteran real estate clients, because the state of Texas offers affordable real estate loans to military veterans and service members. So it's a great way to build your veteran customer base. We've got about 1.7 million veterans and growing in Texas, and we want to make sure that our realtor partners know about these state benefits for military veterans so that they too can access affordable real estate loans. Let me tell you a little bit about each of those loan programs. I'll repeat a lot of this during this Facebook Live event. You can ask questions and leave them on the comment section, and then after this Facebook Live session, we will get to all those questions. I also want to let you know that if your local board or association of realtors is not participating with the webcast on Monday, I'm available to schedule a class. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not. We'll check with the local board, but we can set up those free classes or classes as long as we get about 10 realtors involved, and we're not flying all the way to El Paso, which I do twice a year. The whole reason we have a Veterans Land Board in Texas is because the legislature wanted to honor the service of the World War II veterans for their service, and so the idea was that veterans would need jobs when they come home from the war, and since there's a long history of farming and ranching in Texas, the idea was to use the state's authority to issue tax-free bonds so that the state could create a pool of cheap money to loan out to veterans so they could buy farms and ranches. So it really started as a jobs program. We started making our first land loans for veterans in 1949, and that's all we did until 1983, when somebody else at the legislature recognized that another thing our veterans need is affordable housing. So in 1983, we started a home loan program. That's the only one of our 3 real estate loan programs that is where the state of Texas is not the lender. We've actually got about 80 participating lenders, mostly banks and mortgage companies, that originate all of those home loans for us. What the VLB does is to offer what for many veterans would be a lower interest rate on the mortgage than they would get if they just walk into a VA lender and get an interest rate based on their credit score. The third product we offer is a home improvement loan, so that veterans can fall back in love with the house they already own. So let me quickly go over first the home loan program, because that's going to be of most interest to realtors. Through those participating lenders, and you can find our participating lenders on the VLB website, which is texasveterans.com. And you look up the pull-down menu for loans, and there'll be a button that says Find a Lender. And it'll pull up all the loan officers who've been trained to originate our home loans. The home loan, to apply, you have to select a participating lender, so that's why we have that search engine of lenders on our website. Typically, these are going to be VA guaranteed loans because, of course, the federal government has a no money down guarantee through the Department of Veteran Affairs. So that's the state benefit. The federal benefit. The state benefit, again, is a lower interest rate than many veterans would get based on their credit score. So typically, as long as you've got a middle FICO credit score of around 620, and again, the participating lenders have the right to say you have to have a minimum of whatever FICO, but 620 is a pretty good target there, but check with the lender to see what their requirements are. Eligibility, as long as you've done, you're a veteran and you've done at least 90 days active duty, you do not have a dishonorable discharge, and you live in the state of Texas and can prove that with a driver's license, then you're typically going to be eligible to apply for our real estate benefits. Again, it's typically going to be a VA loan. 9 out of every 10 home loans that are originated by our participating lenders have a VA guarantee. So they got no money down. That's the federal benefit. And again, they can possibly save some interest on their mortgage with the state program. You can't finance the purchase of anything other than the veteran's primary residence with our program. So we can't finance commercial real estate, investment properties, vacation properties. It's got to be the veteran's homestead, and the veteran's going to need to move into the home within 60 days of closing. We can fund the purchase of just about any type of a dwelling other than what we technically call a twister magnet in Texas. That's a mobile home. But we'll do single-family homes. We'll do townhomes. If you do have a veteran client who wants to finance the purchase of a condominium and use either a VA or FHA guarantee with that loan, well, those agencies have an approved condo development list. And what they're mainly looking for is a development that's at least 51% owner occupied. We can also finance the purchase of multifamily housing for a veteran, either a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. Now, the veteran needs to live in one of those units as his or her primary residence, but they can rent out the other 1, 2, or 3 units and have a tidy little business. The only requirement the VLB has to finance multifamily housing, and it only applies to multifamily housing, is that the structure itself has to be at least 5 years old on the day the veteran closes on its purchase, because we want to see rental history. We don't want to set a veteran up as a landlord if he or she's never done that. And a reminder, ask questions. I'm going to go through this stuff so that folks can get the full flavor of it. Let's move on to our home improvement loan program. We can finance up to, let me back up. On the home loan product, the maximum loan through the VLB's participating lenders is $424,100, which is the same as the conforming VA limit. On home improvement loans, we can provide up to $50,000 for a veteran to fix up his or her primary residence. The veteran chooses the contractor. We don't have recommended or approved contractors. We give the veteran typically up to 20 years to pay off that home improvement loan. Can always pay down any of our loan products with no penalty at any time. There's a very long list of eligible home improvement projects on the VLB website, and the best thing about the product is that we're offering home improvement funds at the same interest rate as a home loan. And to give you an example, our base rate on a home or home improvement loan this week, and it changes every week, is around a 4.21% interest rate. Compare that to a typical VA market rate of around 4%. So if the veteran has at least typically upper 600s, lower 700s, they can get the best VA rate. But again, the home improvement loan product got the same interest rate as a home loan, and that's going to save a lot of interest. The land loan is where we started in 1949, and we have many, many Texas veterans who want to own a little piece of Texas because they're not making any more. So we can finance the purchase of up to $150,000 toward the purchase of a minimum of 1 acre anywhere in Texas. That 1 acre minimum has to be net of any easements if it's a landlocked parcel. We don't count the acreage in the easement to the 1 acre minimum. We can provide fixed rate 30-year financing at 7.25%. And one of the best features of our land loan program is typically we only need 5% down from the veteran. So, again, for those of you who are just joining us now, I am Steve Hudson with the Texas Veterans Land Board, and we're talking about some veterans real estate loans that we're going to talk about in a free TAR. I guess some locations will be free. Check with your local board or association of realtors to see if there's a fee for the webcast where you're participating. So the land loan program, again, minimum of 1 acre, finance up to $150,000. Think if there's anything else you need to know about the land loans. Probably not. That's a pretty good start. Couple of other things we offer for veterans that have nothing to do with real estate. We have 8 skilled care nursing homes we've built for veterans and their spouses all over the state. We're about to break ground on number 9 south of Houston. We've also built 4 state veteran cemeteries in Texas, and they complement the existing 4 VA cemeteries in the state of Texas. So again, we hope you'll contact your local board or association of realtors and see if they are participating in a live webcast of my CE course on the VLB's loan programs. You'll also learn some other things, some benefits that have nothing to do with the state of Texas Veterans Land Board. You'll learn about tax exemptions for disabled veterans. I do want to make a point that for the home loan and the home improvement loan products, if the veteran that you're serving has a disability rating from the VA, so they're getting compensation from the feds for a service-connected disability, we're going to knock a half a point off our base interest rate. So this week, a veteran with at least a 30% service-connected rating is going to have an interest rate around 371, which is well below the market VA in most cases. So again, we hope you'll check with your local board or association of realtors. If you can't make the event on Monday, please ask your local board or association to contact me, and I'd love to talk to the association executive about participating in future webcasts. TAR has been generous enough to schedule this live webinar 4 times a year, and we really appreciate their support of our veteran loan programs. Again, please ask any questions you have on the comments section, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So again, Steve Hudson, let me give you quickly, my email address is steve.hudson@glo.texas.gov, and very happy to talk to you. I also provide this training to private realty firms, so if you've got a firm and you can get at least 10 realtors in a room, I'd love to teach them about these veterans benefits, because again, if veterans don't know about these benefits, they're not going to apply for them, and so that's why we've partnered with TAR to provide this training so that you can better serve those who served. I mean, we've got the second highest number of veterans in the country here in Texas, and we want to make sure that every one of them is familiar with their real estate benefits through the Texas Veterans Land Board. So, again, thank you, TAR, for sponsoring this class. Thank you, Facebook friends, for following us. We do have a VLB website and a VLB Facebook page, so please check us out. Thanks so much, and I think we're ready to go. See you on Monday. We've got a question before I break.
Yes. How long does a typical land loan transaction take to close?
Yeah, the question is how long typically does a land loan take to close? Typically, if we have all the signed paperwork, including an executed contract, and we use the Trek Farm and Ranch Contract 25-11, but typically within 40-45 days of getting all the completed paperwork, we can close on that loan. It only takes about 3 or 4 days to qualify a veteran for a land loan, and we expect that that veteran is going to present us a contract to finance within about 45 days of that approval. But if the veteran doesn't have all the paperwork within 45 to 60 days, we'll follow up with the veteran to make sure that they know what the rest of the process is. But all of our land loan applicants will be assigned a loan officer, so you'll always have a point of contact at the Veterans Land Board on that land loan. Okay? Do we have any other questions before we go? Great. Thanks again. We'll see y'all on Monday.